วิทยุมอ มหาวิทยาลัยสงขลานครินทร์ร่วมเปิดตำราตั้งวงสนทนาในชุมชนวิชาการ
Hello, สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
My name is Ajahn Arno
I'm Ajahn Nana
and welcome to the second episode of
Hatyai to Global Business.
Okay, so in today's show we will follow a similar format than we did last time, except this time we have an exciting guest that will share his knowledge on business and how to properly manage your finance when you start a small business. So we are very excited for Joshua. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. My name is Joshua, a student of MBA International Program at PSU here. I specialize in international business. Thank you for having me.
Very nice, Joshua. So we're all excited to hear about what you're going to share to us later in our third sessions. But first thing first, we have some news from Malaysia to share to you guys today as well. You all know about Grab, right? Grab business.
It's taken over the world in terms of the taxi industry.
Exactly. Grab, who also the strong competitors with Uber.
Yes, they've taken over Asia and they've bought over Uber, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years ago.
So since their business is quite big right now, then what happened to them is that they have this incident happen in Malaysia. Yeah, you guess what? This incident happened with the passenger who murdered the driver. I don't know.
Murdered
The driver.
Yeah,
Robbed first, murdered the driver after.
That is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. And it makes us think, are these companies actually safe to use?
Yeah, this is why Grab realized that this is important to have the security for the drivers too. They try to protect the driver now instead of passenger. Not really instead of passenger. Of course, they also protect the passenger as well as the driver.
Both, yeah. And this is quite an interesting perspective that they brought into security in their specific business and how they will protect their drivers.
So what they did, they actually informed the users through the application, the mobile phone application, to all passengers. They have to do the selfie scan, the facial recognition. It's fun.
Quite an interesting way of looking at security. Facial recognition has become very important these days, and many of these tech-related companies use facial recognition with not only their customers but their employees as well.
Yeah, because they want to avoid the fake identities. See what happened to me before when I created the account last time. I actually create the fake name and then put the Hello Kitty photos as my profile photo.
I don't think I've ever done that before, Ajahn.
Well, you're not done for Hello Kitty. I'm sure you've done like Spider-Man or something, yes?
Rugby players.
There you go. So in order to avoid the fake identities, Grab asks the passenger to submit another selfie to verify their identity when needed. Grab also assure passengers with the personal information. They also will secure all the actual personal information. They will not gonna violate as long as the passenger fill in the complete information.
Good. Well, it's a very good way of updating their security measures, and I believe there are quite a few companies that might follow in Grab's footsteps.
I think so, and especially for you guys who listen, if you want to go to Malaysia, this is kind of a regulation there already. You have to register your real account, so you have to have selfie from now. Take a good photos of it. No need to have a the sign of your hand or anything. Just your face. Take photos before you go to Malaysia, and then your information must be real too. Your phone number, email address, and everything.
So everyone's going to be taking a lot more pictures of themselves.
Me too, actually. I make sure I will enhance the brightness of the photo too. So there you go. That's about what's happening in Malaysia, our neighbor countries. And then for you guys to go there, don't forget to take a photo.
So thank you very much, Ajahn Nana. We will have a quick break, and when we get back, we will start with the second part of the show, which will be an English lesson.
Now opening the one and only first in Southern Thailand, Master of Business Administration International Program, Faculty of Management Science, Prince of Songkhla University, Hatyai campus. We provide a strong foundation in business administration with concentration in business management, business in ASEAN countries, finance, marketing, and any relevant business management. Studying at our MBA International Program, you will experience close relationship with professors and classmates from around the world. For more information, visit our website www.imba.fmspsu.com or call us at 082 661 6600.
Okay, welcome back everyone. We are going to have our English lesson now, and it's going to be quite exciting because we are actually have three people here that will contribute to the lesson. So we have a similar format as the previous show, where I introduce a couple of new business English related phrases and words, and we will look at the definitions, the explanations, and also some examples of sentences and how we use these words in sentences. So let's get to the first word. Now, the first word is stakeholders. Stakeholders. So Janana, when you hear the word stakeholders, what comes to mind?
Well, the stakeholders are probably a person or a group organization that has interest or concern in organization.
Perfect example, perfect definition. I'll just add in my own definition to it. The stakeholders is used to refer to anyone who is involved with a business. If someone is affected in any way by an organization, this person is a stakeholder. Joshua, can you think of any examples of stakeholders?
Examples of stakeholders in business includes the customer, the employees, because they are affected by the decisions of the business, the environment, the society where the business operates, the government, the regulators, then even the managers of the business, they are stakeholders.
100%. Perfect examples of stakeholders and those who are affected by and who affect a business. Thank you very much, Joshua. Okay, so the next word that we will look at is buy-in. Buy-in. Janana, when you hear the word buy-in, what do you think of?
In my opinion, all right, whether it's right or wrong or not, when I hear the word buy-in, I think of the when the company buys its own share from the shareholders. I'm not sure if it got it right.
Well, it can be within a company or outside of a company. Someone buying into that company, someone becoming an owner in that company. If you are a new shareholder, you are buying into that company and you're becoming an owner of that company. Joshua, if you hear the term buy-in, what do you think of?
I think of consent, trying to get someone's consent into an idea. So if I want to get your buy-in into the idea of doing something, then I have to explain to you that I'm trying to get your buy-in on this. I'm trying to get your consent on this idea. So for me, when I hear buy-in, it's kind of like consent, seeking consent from the people that are affected by your decision.
That's perfect. That's a perfect example of how you would use buy-in in a sentence. Buying into someone's ideas, meaning to believe that that person's ideas. That's to get consent.
Yeah.
Also, to get and give consent. All right. All right. So let's have a look at the third phrase. On the same page. If you're on the same page as someone, you're approaching something from the same point of view as them. From the same point of view as them. Janana, if you think of the term on the same page, what comes to mind?
Something come to mind now. When husband and wife having a thought in terms of, the same thought, they probably on the same page in their married life.
Even though that's not always the case, right?
What do you think?
Yes, no, you're 100% correct. Yes, it's very important for husbands and wives to be on the same page with one another. Otherwise, a lot of problems might occur within the marriage. Yes?
in business as well, in partnership business, or you trying to make decision in business, you have to be on the same page with your colleague, with your team members, to make sure that you understand the same thing, understand the situation correctly, and view it the same way in order to move forward.
Perfect. You mentioned the word partnership. Yeah. No, marriage is also a partnership. But when you're in a business and you have a partner, if the two of you have different views, you are not on the same page, a lot of problems, a lot of conflict might occur, and that will negatively impact the business. Thank you very much, Joshua. That's a very good example. All right, the next phrase that we'll be looking at is skill set. Ajanana, when you hear the term skill set, what do you think of?
I use a lot of the word of skill set in terms of the academic writing or something to do with reporting. Okay, in terms of skill set, I probably can give you an example right now if you want to hear.
Oh yes, please share with us.
My example is I refer to the MBA international program when I use the goal of international program is to offer a comprehensive framework tailored to improve the academic skill set of each student.
Very, very good example, Ajan. Very good example. I could not have put it any better myself. Thank you very much, Ajan. Also some good promotion for your program.
Thank you.
All right, the next phrase we'll be looking at is thinking outside the box. Thinking outside of the box means to think creatively. Abandoning all preconceptions means to think creatively. Abandoning all preconceptions. Joshua, when you hear the term thinking outside the box, what do you think of?
I think of looking beyond the ordinary, looking beyond the obvious when you want to approach a thing. Think outside the box in terms of solving problem. If you think, oh, these are the traditional way of solving it, it may not always work out, but you have to think outside the box to be innovative, to be creative, and then to offer better solutions.
100%, and that's very synonymous with abandoning preconceptions. Abandoning preconceptions, thinking beyond the norm. Thank you very much, Joshua. It's a very good definition of thinking outside the box. Ajanana, can you give us an example of how you might use it in a sentence?
Yeah, I actually always tell my student in class when it comes to workshop. Yeah, I would like to say to student that student, you should actually think outside the box, so you will have a new idea or unusual ideas instead of stick to the originals idea from the slide, from the lectures. This is the workshop where you can have the time to think outside the box and propose to lecturer.
Very good, John. Thank you very much. That was a very good example of how you might use the term thinking outside the box. So, we're coming to the end of our English lesson now. Let's go through the words one more time. Number 1, stakeholders. Number 2, buy-in. Number 3, on the same page. Number 4, skill set. And the last one, thinking outside the box. I do hope that you learned some new phrases, some new business-related phrases today. I hope that everyone will be able to apply these phrases in their businesses or in their daily life. So, next we will have another break and then we'll move on to the next section.
Now opening the one and only first in Southern Thailand, Master of Business Administration International Program, Faculty of Management Science, Prince of Songkhla University, Hatyai campus. We provide a strong foundation in business administration with concentration in business management, business in ASEAN countries, finance, marketing, and any relevant business management. Studying at our MBA International Program, you will experience close relationship with professors and classmates from around the world. For more information, visit our website www.imba.fmspsu.com or call us at 082 661 6600.
Welcome back to Hatyai 2 Global Business Show. Now we have a special guest who ready to share to us about the financial management tips. I'm so excited to hear about it because I also thinking to have a small business for my own.
Oh, that's interesting. You should tell me about that a bit later.
Sure. Behind the microphone. So Joshua, can you share to us the tips that you prepared? And I know that you actually prepared about small enterprise, right?
Yes.
So probably share to us first what are the definitions of the financial management that you try to say, and also what kind of characteristics of the small enterprise or medium enterprise, what's the difference?
Okay, first I'll try to define financial management. I don't want to go too academic. So to make it simple,
Yep.
financial management is about how you manage the money in the business, how you manage how you get the funding for your business, and how you both getting the funding and paying out money in the business. So financial management is all encompassing for money management in business. So financial management is also, I see it as a lifeblood of any business. So if there's no finance, the business will go bankrupt. In terms of characteristics, I say small enterprises because I focus on, the topic for today is focused on small enterprises. I would say small enterprises, according to Ministry of Industry, they define small enterprises as enterprises with lower than 50 employees. Like if you have 1 employee to 50 employees, then you are considered small enterprises. Also, they can use the asset of the enterprise to categorize them as small enterprises. So if you have below 50 million baht of assets, then you are considered small enterprises. One of the characteristics of small enterprises is that they have limited access to funding. So for small enterprises, they can get funding from themselves, from their family members, and then from the bank. So they can go to the capital market to raise shares, to get funding from the capital market because they are small enterprises and they are not so regulated. So that's one of the, in terms of finance, that's one of the limitations. They have very few ways they can raise fund.
It's becoming even more difficult now with bank loans. Banks don't want to give out loans anymore because it's such a risky thing to do, correct?
Yes, it is. Although the Bank of Thailand always encourage the commercial banks to give out loans to SMEs, but then banks also check whether you can pay back before they can. Yeah. Because if they give you a loan, you have to pay back. If not, it will affect them as.
There are a lot of people, specifically in Thailand, that are not necessarily qualified for those loans. And
yes.
Yeah.
You guys are foreigners and talking about what happening in financial situation in Thailand. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, what about in your country? I mean, like, what happened with a small enterprise then if they want to have some loan, if they have a very tight financial situation? What happened? Will they help?
In my country also, the central bank encourages the commercial bank to give loans to SMEs. The government also have a bank of industry, which also supports majorly SMEs. But then you know that there are so many SMEs, so it's a competition. Before you can get the loan, they still have to check whether you have the capacity to pay back. They're not giving you for free. You have to pay back. So, which is why understanding the financial management of the company is very important, because it can help you to, access more loan and grow your business.
Then that means it's same everywhere around the world.
It's same everywhere around the world, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with very few dissimilarities, yeah, but I would say it is definitely similar in most areas of the world.
Then if you don't mind, can you share us about the tips? I really excited to hear about it because of right now about the financial management situation. It's a priority for me as well, because I need to learn about how to manage it. That's important, very important.
Yes. Okay, I'll go over the tips, but the tips are for small enterprises, but it's applicable to all enterprises. It's also applicable to individuals. So the principles are the same. So the first tip is know your cash flow. Understanding your cash flow. What do I mean by cash flow? Cash flow is how money comes in and goes out of the business, and even when, not just how, but when. If you understand the cash flow, then you can plan you can do a proper planning for your cash. You can do a cash budget. You can plan for difficult times. You can make planning for the business generally. So understanding your cash flow, how the money comes in and how money goes out, and when, will help you a lot as an entrepreneur. The second tip is know the potential risk to your cash flow. What are the risks you face in terms of cash flow, in terms of generating cash flow? For example, if you have just one customer, maybe you're a manufacturing company, or you produce and then you sell to a company, just one company. So it's a risk, because if that company defaults and doesn't pay you, that single customer defaults and doesn't pay you, then you don't have money. So the best way to mitigate that kind of risk is to diversify, have more customers. So if this person doesn't pay you, another person pay you. So your cash can continue to go in and out of the business.
This one's something like it's like a follow from the first step that you say. If you have to keep everything recorded, and then make sure you know you can see forecasting, you can see what's happening, what's coming up to you, then the pattern, then you'll be able to avoid those risks too, if you don't have first step, then of course the risk will be there. True. That means that you have to manage the first step first, whereby you have to manage the cash flow first.
No such thing as skipping steps, because if you're skipping steps, then you're going to make life very difficult for yourself.
Even for a small business, sometimes they do recording in the book. They're just writing down one item sold, they're just writing down one by one inside the book by written handwriting, So that also can keep them record even the simple things.
Yes. Speaking of recording in the book, it's a very good thing that small businesses record in the book, at least the basic accounting, to know how much is going out of your business, how much is coming in of your business. But they should do more in terms of looking to the pattern, not just record, but check the book. How is money going out? How is money coming in? And have an understanding of, for instance, you can see a pattern like in January we make more money, in February we don't make money. Then you can prepare for February, because you don't make more money in February. So like you said, keeping record is very, very important. And that brings us to the third tip, which is manage your credit to customers. Small businesses also give credit to customers. That is, when people want to buy from them, they buy and then they pay later. So it's normal, it's typical for every business to have such customers to buy from you and pay later. But when you want to give out credit to your customer, you have to manage it well. You have to keep an eye on what we call your cash conversion cycle. I'll explain this a bit. Cash conversion cycle, it's talking about converting your inventory to cash. It's a combination of three concepts. The first thing is inventory conversion period. How long does it take you to sell all your inventory? So let's take for example, if you're selling clothes, when you stock your store, you have to sell your products. So how long does it take you to sell all your products? Then another concept is receivable collection period. How long does it take you to get your money back from the customers? And then the third one is how long does it take you to pay back your supplier, which we call payable deferral period. So if you have these three things, then you can compute your cash conversion cycle. So I give an example with the clothes entrepreneur. If you buy from your supplier and you have to pay back in 30 days, that is your payable deferral period. And then for the goods that you bought from your supplier, you sell it, let's say you sell it in 20 days. But when you sold it on credit, and then your customer have to pay you back in 10 days, which means that when you had the time it takes you to sell your inventory plus the time it takes the customer to pay back, 20 plus 10, it becomes 30, and then you can meet your obligation on the 30th day when you're supposed to pay back your supplier. But if you miss the math, if you, for instance, you give your customer 20 days to pay back, that means you are short of 10 days to pay back your own supplier. You have to look for money.
Another loan.
Yes, you have to get another loan. Yeah, you have to get another loan to quickly pay back because you don't want to spoil your credit rating as well. So we have to manage credit to customer very well. The terms of the credit, how much you're supposed to give, who you're supposed to give credit to, you have to monitor that very well. Another tip is match your fund. So small businesses go to the bank to get loan. Of course, the bank will always check whether you're taking long-term loan for a long-term project. The bank will do that before they can give you loan. But we know that people it is unethical, but they use the loan for something else. They divert it for a different project. So you have to match your fund. So don't take a long-term loan for a short-term project. Because, for instance, if you take 5-year loan and the project is just for 1 year and the project finish 1 year, the cash flow from the project finish 1 year, which means for the rest of the 4 years, you have to pay back the loan from a different project or from yourself. So it will bring burden on the finance of the business. And lastly, invest your surplus cash. If you have cash is good, cash is king. But then don't just let it sit idle in the bank. Don't let it sit idle in the savings. You can calculate how much do I need to run the operation of the business for 1 month, for 2 months, depending on the business cycle for the operation cycle for the business, and keep that as the save level. But then excess cash should be reinvested in the business. It can also be invested in other kinds of business. You can give it to asset management just to diversify your source of income. Invest in other business. And if you do these 5 things, then you are having a very healthy financial management in your business.
Well, also in personal life.
Yeah, in personal life
This
as well.
is just the principles of how to manage your money.
Can be applied anywhere, yeah? Not only in business, but in your own daily life as well, as Nana just mentioned.
Very valuable knowledge that you shared to us, Joshua. I appreciate that you are in our show today.
Thank
because
you for
we received pretty much significant information on how to manage our finance in small business.
Very, very valuable information. Joshua, thank you very much for sharing your
you.
thoughts and your input and your knowledge with us. And those of you listening, you can definitely apply these principles in your businesses and also in your daily life.
Now it comes to